All right, thank you. This year we're going to go with tighter, shorter presentations, so we'll get right to it here. I want to talk about three things about 2019 and into 2020. The first big one is 2019 was a very bad production year. We had it across the upper Midwest here. It was just widespread production problems, beginning with prevented plant. The U.S. had a record of 20 million acres of prevented plant. It hits Wisconsin. You can see the pictures there where it was in Wisconsin, but nationally it hit really hard, like in South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, and lots of pockets elsewhere, like over towards the Indiana, Ohio. We had it here in Wisconsin. You can see the counties that were hit pretty hard there. In the state this year, we had 593 acres of prevented plant. That was reported to the FSA. That's 12% of our corn and 7% of our soybean acres were prevented plant. Those are records since that's data, so like over 30 years. Previous high was only 6.6 and 5.4 for soybeans. So you can see some of those in the southeastern part there, 25, 30% of a third of their acres were prevented plant, weren't even able to plant. So that's the beginning, and you can see the cross there. These are the top 15 counties, but pretty much it happened to problems everywhere. That continued throughout the year. Pretty much the USDA has these weekly crop progress reports, and in general, corn and soybeans are a couple weeks behind all summer long from where they normally were in terms of emergence, tasseling, and the doing stages, all the different phases of the plants. Then harvest came. The last report came out December 8th. Normally that's when everything's done. You can see the 100% of harvest, and for corn and soybeans is pretty typical. This year we had 74% of the corn was harvested on December 8th in the state. 88% of the soybeans is all. Way worse than usual. You look at that north central region there. That's Marathon County, Clark County, and north. That area only had 46% of the corn was harvested on December 8th. That's a mess. There's a lot of corn out there still frozen. Soybeans, it's a little better, but the lowest was East Central at 75% of the soybeans is harvested. So that's just to give you an example of how rough the production year was. Crop insurance is about 75% of our corn and soybeans are insured. And you can see there, these data are put out each week. As of Monday, they had $284 million were spent in crop insurance indemnities in the state. We've got a ways to go yet. This is far from done. I expect that to be the third worst or third largest payout. All we got to need is another $80 million in indemnities paid, and we will be tied or higher than our worst, to be the third worst. 2012 and 2013, they're the worst there. The other one that people don't think about much is hay stocks. The USDA puts out a report in May and December. Hay stocks in May of 2019 were the lowest they've ever been since 1950. Then we had a really bad production year. In December, we tried our best to make hay, but it was wet, a lot of wet. They were the second lowest hay stocks in December we've ever seen as well since 1950. So farmers had a hard time making hay. Silage. We harvested over 1 million acres of silage in the state. The only other time we did that was in the drought of 1988. Lots of silage often means bad crop. And they also had shortage of forage. And so lots of late corn, lower quality. It was wet. Why dry it? Turn it into silage. But it's low quality. It's light. The test weights aren't there. I'm talking to some of the crop consultants who work with dairy farmers up in the Green Bay, Appleton area west of there. And it was saying this light, they're worried about production falling for dairy because they just don't have the feed quality there. It rained a lot. The other part is just lots of soil damage out there. People desperately trying to harvest or do other activities in the spring to plant, to put on herbicides or whatever. And I don't think we've even really quite assessed the soil damages we've done out there. And high water places, there's plenty of places the roads are flooded, or the groundwater is really high right now in a lot of places. So so that was the production issues. The other one is look at farm income. This is the USDA at the national level. You got with net farm income without doing depreciation and some of the inventory adjustments is always a lower one in general. But you can see it was up 12.9% or 8%, depending on which farm income measure you use. So, okay, farm income is up. It's been slowly creeping up over there the last few years. Farm receipts, corn was up. This is just cash coming in about 2% at the national level. Beans were down 5%. Beef was pretty flat, down 1%. A big one for us is nice. Dairy was up 13% in cash revenues. That's good for the state of Wisconsin, their farmers. But here's where the money came from. This is the direct payments over the last 10 years to farmers. You can see the different programs have changed over the years, but that yellow stuff at the last couple of years there, that's MFP. The 2018, some of those payments for the 2018 crop year were paid in 2019. That's why 2019 is so large. But you can see we've really put a lot of more money poured into the farm's income based off of these MFP payments, as well as the other program payments. They're big for us. Dairy was also important. But if you take away those payments, the MFP payments, farm income doesn't look so good. It was flat, basically, or down, depending which income measure you use. And so without MFP, we would have seen a fall in farm income at the national level, and I would expect in the state as well. This is where they went. This is the payment rates in the state of Wisconsin. You can kind of see it tracks primarily the soybean acres, but you can see we brought $260 million from FSA, went into the state from MFP. Crops got about $214 million. Dairy picked up $37 million from that. Specialty crops, that's primarily cranberry and ginseng, received some payments as well. You take that, dairy margin coverage paid about almost $70 million into the state in 2019. So farm programs were a big deal this year for farm income in the state of Wisconsin. You put those together, you get almost $330 million. So farm income, now let's look ahead here, where are we going? Farm income government programs were a big part of it. 2019 and 2020, the costs were fairly stable between 2018 and 2019. This is a USDA price index or cost index. Looking at crop budgets and such, the 2020 crop, what's looking at is pretty flat, a little down, depends on lower in general. Nitrogen and phosphorus fertilizers are down, fuel costs, LP gas are down. But labor's up and the rent went up a little bit on average in the state of Wisconsin. So it's generally costs are stable. So revenues are looking good, solid, and costs are flat, so that's a good sign. Land values are holding in the state. The upper Midwest here, it's plus or minus 1%. Wisconsin state average cropland value went from 4,900 to 4,950, an uptick of 1%. So this is a good sign. The land values are holding. Ag is still a good investment. But you look at some of the lending portfolio. This is from the Federal Reserve Bank in Kansas City for the ag sector broadly, not just their region. Commercial banks, it's been falling heavily after the Great Recession. But ag banks, those are heavily focused or highly concentrated, been trending upwards since 2016. We're at about 2.5% of these ag loans are delinquent. So it's not as it's been worse back at the Great Recession in the early 2000s, but it's disturbing to see that keep going upward. This is what just came out yesterday. The ABA and the Farmer Mac, they had their survey. There's an article, the link is there at the bottom. The number one issue that they're worried about ag lending, this is across the Midwest, or the U.S. really, credit quality and the ag loan deterioration. That's number one on their list. 74% of the ag lenders are concerned about that. The next one is only at 34%. It's ag, the credit worthiness, the ag loan portfolios deterioration is a really big issue to ag lenders right now. You can see there the map, how much percentage of customers profitable through 2019 and 2020, about half in the Corn Belt. And so that means there's another half that aren't doing so well, and that's the part that worries me, and that's, I think, that 74%. I'm guessing there are ag lenders here, this should be a topic of conversation, how the Wisconsin farmers are doing. The dairy, we'll let Mark talk to us about dairy, but hopefully it's better. The other one there is that hemp comment there. About half of the ag lenders in the country reported somebody asking them, a farmer, about doing financing hemp. So it's on a lot of people's mind, hence the afternoon. This is the one that always disturbs me, is the dairy farmer attrition. We have good numbers on herds in the state of Wisconsin, 10% is from last year to this year. We lost 10% of it. The average is 2.2 dairy herds left the state, or were sold this year per day. Herd size has gone up from 132 cows in January 2016 to 173, basically 31% higher. So consolidation is a big deal. This is we're still leading the state, the bankruptcies, farm bankruptcies in the state. This is Chapter 12 filings, which show up in the federal court data. You can download it each quarter, and this is the most recent one available for September 30th. 48 in the state. We're ahead of everybody else again. I'm sick of us being good at this. It's really quite sad. So in summary, production issues dominated in 2019. There's still a lot of unharvested corn out there, especially damaged fields, shortage of quality forage out there. Hopefully 2020 will bring us better weather. I don't know about weather forecasting. I'm not going down that route. Farm income was a tight year in 2019. 2020 looking to be about the same, pretty tight. But farm programs were a very big help this year. Between M&P, the dairy margin coverage, ARC PLC played a role, crop insurance, all that stuff was very important for farmers this year. Over $500 million came into the state so far. We're getting mixed signals on the farm financials sort of health in the 2020 outlook. Some are doing okay, some are not. Signs of strength are stable costs, land values are holding, and the price expectations we'll hear from Brenda and Mark. Signs of financial stress, there's plenty of them out there, dairy attrition, loan delinquency, the farm bankruptcy. So it's kind of a mixed bag out there. All right, thanks for your attention. We're going to have questions at the end.